Is a gold and silver surge coming? That is the question and the topic we're going to tackle today. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Gold and Silver Stacking Saturdays, your go-to source for insights, strategies, and truths the mainstream media will not share with you. And in today's gold and silver stacking strategy, we're going to be talking about the US dollar. Is it on the brink of a major move and how central banks are stockpiling silver quietly? Now, this is something that I did share with before on a previous call, but also some latest insights on the future of gold and silver from one of my go-to guys that I follow on a regular basis, Mike Maloney, and also a step-by-step guide to start saving in precious metals the smart way and how you can do that today. And then I'm also going to share with you a 9-minute wealth strategies presentation that could really change the way that you think about your financial future. Now, okay, so if this is something, if you want to protect your wealth and build leverage and stay ahead of what's coming, you're in the right place. And I hope you get some great insight from this video. And what I want to do is I'm going to be sharing all this information today, and it's going to be condensed down. Now, my main focal point is a lot of people come up to me all the time and say, "Hey, Rick, how do I go about starting to save in the form of gold and silver today?" And that's usually I share this information with them. I try to give them a little bit of a background on what they need to know, some key points to consider. That's the whole point of Gold and Silver Stacking Saturdays. But then also I also guide them to different sources and different places that I've used before personally and places that I recommend. So this is something that I'm really pleased to share this information with everybody. So what I want to do here is real quick is when I shared this presentation last week. I talked about official gold reserves surpass U.S. Treasury holdings for the first time in 30 years, but central banks are just warming up. Now, that is something key. So I just want to touch on that lightly. And I'll touch on that again a little bit here in the video or in the presentation. But also, that's something to keep in mind when I'm sharing this information moving forward. So I do want to point out to it is if you're unable to watch the full YouTube video, I do have a overview of each call on my worksmarterforyourfuture.com website. You just go there and you'll be able to see the previous calls there and the summary of each call there as well. Okay, so I just want to point that out to people if you're limited on your time. So let's go ahead and dive into everything. So what I usually do at the beginning of each call is I go over the current price of gold and silver. Now, going back to our pre-launch date of June 21st, gold was at 33.69 and silver was at 36.02. So I did eliminate some of the dates here, but each week I do have the current cost of silver and gold. Now, like gold keeps surpassing. Like I'm titling this is gold and silver on a possible surge. Actually, with what I'm going to share with you here today, we've already had a huge surge. You know, we're looking at close to $300 increase and also over a $6 increase on silver here since we started these calls. But it's been a huge surge so far. But with what I'm going to share with you today, it's going to give you more insight on what's to come, okay, or what's potentially going to happen here in the coming months. So I just want to share this with you because you can see like the big gains over going back from August 23rd to September 13th. We've had jumps of $100, $100 increments over those 4 weeks, and then silver's gone from 38.90 all the way up to 42.18 an ounce. Okay, so this is something that kind of keep this in mind. You see what's happening here, you see the patterns, and then what I'm going to share with you here today is stuff that's going to show you what's influencing those prices. And I also like to talk about the gold silver ratio. So with gold at 36.43 and silver at 42.18, it would take 86.38 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. So last week was at 87.4 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. So you can see that it's a slight change. That's not much, but like I mentioned before, the typical mean or typical average of the gold to silver ratio is anywhere from that 40-1 to 60-1. So right now with us being at 86-1, there's still that room for silver to start catching up to gold. So kind of keep that in mind. And when I share this chart here, you can see that with some of the increases in gold and the increases in silver, it's taking a little bit to catch up. So there's still a lot of potential for it to grow. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. And like I've said before many times, you know, why now is still the best time to buy gold or silver. And if it's not too late for everybody, it's something that, like I said before, anything that's incremental that you can do is going to benefit you in the long term. Okay. And like something that, like I've said before, also, silver and gold and precious metals is not like a short-term gain thing. Although with what's been happening lately, if you did jump in a couple weeks back, you've already had some really nice gains. Okay, so but typically people who save in the form of silver and gold or precious metals, they're looking for something kind of for a long-term thing, not a short-term gain. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. Okay, so I wanted to share this information. This is from Jesse Colombo on moneymetals.com. The dollar is on the brink of a major move. Now, I'll have this link for this article below too, if you want to read the full article. Now, he kind of breaks down really nice. And I kind of searched high and low for somebody who was trying to give a specifics as to what could be impacting the market. Okay, so in this article, he's got the US dollar is experiencing a rare volatility squeeze, indicating that a major move is near. While the most likely direction is downward, meaning the value of the dollar, any move will have a big impact on precious metals. Last week brought a wave of disappointing labor reports, starting with the JOLTS report for July, which showed that job openings declined by 176,000 to 7.181 million, marking a 10-month low. For the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic, there were more unemployed individuals than available positions. Now, part of that could be because of AI, and that's a lot of downsizing is coming with that. Um, Next was the weekly initial jobless claims report, which revealed a higher than expected increase of 8,000 claims, bringing the total to 237,000. And finally, the trifecta was completed by Friday's non-farm payrolls report for August, which showed that only 22,000 jobs were added, far below the forecast of 75,000. So a lot of times, with these forecasts and that, people are just throwing numbers out there sometimes, but then when the actual reports come out, it's a big difference. So that does affect the markets. With these 3-week reports adding to a string of disappointing employment data in recent months, it is becoming increasingly clear that the U.S. is experiencing a job market slump. As a result, there is now an 87% chance of a 25 basis point Fed funds rate cut at the September 17th meeting, while the odds of a 50 basis point cut have doubled over the past week to 9%, according to the prediction market, Polymarket. Okay, so this is something that here again, uh, all these, the gurus out there that are saying one thing and, they're making predictions, but until the actual thing happens, um, that's when you see a lot of fluctuations in markets. Okay. This is why gold is spiking and treasury yields are falling as markets begin pricing in a much more accommodative Federal Reserve in the months ahead. To summarize, US dollar and several other important assets, including US treasuries, gold, silver, and copper are experiencing volatility squeezes that indicate major price moves are ahead. The markets are simply waiting for a catalyst, which will most likely come in the form of further confirmation for the U.S. is heading into a recession. Although a lot of people that I've been following have said we've been in a recession for going on plus two plus years now, and it's just a matter of the federal government saying, yeah, we are in a recession. Then everybody thinks that, some of the statistics show that we already are, but a lot of people look for the confirmation from the federal government to actually come out and say, hey, we're in a recession. Okay. Um, Assuming that the scenario unfolds, it would cause both Treasury yields and the dollar to decline sharply. This would in turn provide a significant boost to gold, silver, and other commodities as they trade inversely to the dollar and benefit from dollar weakness. Okay, so that's something to really keep in mind here. Um, now, I did touch on this a couple weeks back in one of my calls about central banks purchasing silver. Okay, and like this is from Gainesville Coins. This is actually I wanted to find an article or somebody who actually put it into writing so I could share it with everybody here. And I was trying to look for a central bank purchases in silver chart. I have them in gold that I've shared with people in the past, but I could not find anywhere online where they actually had a breakdown of the central bank purchases in silver over the course I wanted to do from the year 2000 to now so we could see what type of increase it's been. But a lot of times, and what this article shares is kind of a good reason why there isn't a chart out there. This was published on June 25th, and central bank silver purchases following smart money. Russia breaks ranks as central banks eyes silver amid supply crisis. Why is Russia's silver purchase so significant? Russia, the world's eighth largest silver producer at 38.5 million ounces annually, appears to be leveraging its domestic production as part of a broader strategy to reduce dollar dependence following Western sanctions. Industry analysts suggest this move could drive silver prices up 50% within 24 months, particularly if other nations follow Russia's lead. Now, here again, I mentioned this before as to why the central banks were purchasing gold because of the sanctions that the U.S. and President Biden put on Russia at the official outbreak of the Ukrainian war. That was like a red flag. That was this huge domino, this huge snowball at the top of the mountain that as it's starting to come down, it's starting to pick up momentum. So with that impact, going back to 2022, that's why we've seen so much volatility in the gold and silver markets. That's one of the major reasons, okay? But in this case here, this is something to kind of keep in mind. Okay, so I wanted to share this because this is actually a pretty nice breakdown here. Why is Russia's silver purchase so significant? Okay, so this gives a nice chart here. So since in central bank gold buying in 2024, there was 1,086 tons purchased by central banks, the third consecutive year above 1,000 tons. And Poland alone added 90 tons. So that was one country that specifically kind of stood out. And the thing with central banks buying gold is typically they buy gold because with silver, it takes up more space, okay? And it's just because that's probably one of the biggest reasons. But there's been a complete absence of silver by central banks. But now all of a sudden, they announced this a couple months back that they were adding that as a precious metal, as a key metal. Okay, so this is something the banks avoid silver because it requires 80 times more storage space than gold, and over half is consumed by industry, and it lacks the liquidity and infrastructure and has more volatile price movements. Okay, so although with what's been happening with gold, that's been pretty volatile. Okay, so it's been increasing rather steadily, but with what I'm sharing here with you and everybody today, this gives you an idea of how Russia making this known because a lot, central banks and that will have to report the amount of gold, and it's like it hasn't been officially deem that they have to report how much silver they're stockpiling. Okay, because in this case here, Russia's kind of setting a precedent by mentioning how much they're stockpiling. So if they're doing it, then all you have to think about all the BRICS nations starting to do it, where you got Brazil, of course, or obviously Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So and all the other nations that are in the BRICS, all the other countries, I should say, that are in the BRICS nations. Okay, so if they all start stockpiling silver, that's going to have a huge impact on the overall price. So Russia's strategic move, 535 million allocation over 3 years. And it's a first explicit silver reserves announcement, and it's part of their de-dollarization strategy. And what they're going to do is they're going to leverage their domestic production, so that way they're not having to rely on any other markets as far as for silver. So they're one of the largest producers of it, but in this case here, they're not going to worry about having to purchase it from the other countries, whether Mexico or although Mexico is trying to be one of the BRICS nations. Um, but this is something that they're trying to do. So if they start doing this and then other countries start doing this where they start stockpiling silver in the central banks, this is going to be actually a huge impact on the silver market. Okay, and so I did want to point this out. I mentioned this at the beginning. I'll have this article below too as well. And this is kind of what when I shared this last week about how central bank gold reserves is actually it's higher than the amount of U.S. Treasury holdings. That is actually huge. That is still impacting all the markets. So this coupled with what I'm sharing with everybody on silver and then what I shared from the first article, this is all kind of tying into why the markets are they're surging right now, but there's a huge potential for an upswing here. And that's when I get to Mike Maloney's video. He's going to kind of talk about that too as well. So, so from this article, here, this is a quote from it. In the near term, he expects an impending rate cut from the Federal Reserve to ignite further momentum through the year end. However, he emphasized that investors should still keep their focus on the long game. So this is like what I'm saying with gold and silver. Don't necessarily look at the short, but think about it in the long game. In 10 years from now, we're going to look back and say, wow, we were so stupid to think that prices now are close to a peak. He said the imbalances we have in the macro side of the global economy are just so severe and profound that gold prices are so far away from where they should be. Okay, so I'm I'm not giving it financial advice. I'm just sharing information with you. Okay. So continue to do your due diligence. Continue to, if you do have a financial advisor, if you want to consult with him or her, just make sure that they are giving you the right information about gold and silver. Okay. So if they're not giving you any information about gold and silver, I've said it before, but get rid of them because they're not looking out for your best interest. Okay. So what I want to do here is I'm going to share two clips from Mike Maloney, okay, and Alan Hibbert. This is from goldsilver.com. If you're not subscribed to him or if you do not follow him, I highly recommend that you do. He always has some great insight, and he's extremely knowledgeable, and he's one of the main go-to gurus, so to speak, for the gold and silver industry. But in this video, there's two clips I'm going to share, okay? So let me go ahead and start this. And like I said, bear in mind, this is live. That's not, I'm just pushing this out as soon as I get done. So if there's a commercial here, bear with me, okay? Yep, there we go. Um, and I'm not trying to advertise for Wix. Okay. Okay.
And then it'll just get pegged at a certain level. Silver will go way up and it'll blast. We are really in the end game of a monetary reset. And, he mentions gold there in the middle of this, but then turns toward stable coins and crypto. I think gold is the answer. Gold and silver is a leverage to gold. Now, gold, if we go back onto a gold-based monetary system, the price of gold is going to go way up and then it'll just get pegged at a certain level. Silver will go way up and it'll blast it as far as the returns, percentage-wise, is probably going to outstrip gold by at least a factor of 4, but it will go into a bubble phase. And if it is part of the monetary system, however, there are countries buying silver for their central banks are buying silver. And so it looks like it could be remonetized too. But gold would go up and hit a plateau. Silver would go up and then come back down. But when it goes up and peaks, it's going to be many times the performance of gold. In my opinion, I don't encourage anybody.
Okay. So the video started off with there was a guy that from Russia that was he had something in Russian that Alan Hibbert was translating into what it was saying as far as um, this guy was urging other countries not to buy into the United States the option of a stable coin as a means to compensate for the U.S. Treasuries. Okay, so but basically, Mike was basically disproving what the guy was saying is that it would never happen. But so that's what he referred to as this guy. That's what he's referring to. But in this case here, what Mike goes on to say here in the next part of this clip is that, what he does is he looks at the gold silver ratio when it comes to what he invests in. He says when the gold silver ratio is high, like it is now, with it being like 86 point whatever to 1, he's stockpiling silver. And basically when the price of silver goes up and it gets more into that 40 to 60 to 1 range, like was what I was talking about earlier, that's when he converts it and then buys gold. And then at that point, depending on the value, whether he thinks the US dollar is going to tank, then he might actually convert it to cash and then invest in other things like real estate or what have you. Okay, so that was kind of what he says in the next portion there. But so that's something to think about, and that's what I wanted to share with everybody here in this presentation was, don't necessarily think about gold. I mean, yes, if you can afford gold, it's going to hold its value, obviously. But at the same time, you're going to have bigger gains with silver. So that's kind of like with, what Mike was saying here. He's not giving advice, and he's just trying to share information about what he does. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip. There's one other short clip here I'm going to share. Um, and this is very important as well. Okay. Here we go. Whoops. What's going on here? There we go.
Sometimes, so the thing is, when they reintroduce a level one to make the whole thing stable again, it looks like gold is going to be the thing that gets reintroduced. That's what central banks have. That is what central banks consider a tier one asset. And it's what Trump is talking about and everything else. And it's what Eastern central banks are currently buying, getting ready for this. It all points to level one coming back. And if you're ahead of the transition in this new monetary reset, if you're ahead of it, and you've got gold, you've got silver, you're going to make massive gains in absolute purchasing value.
Absolutely. So sometimes, Mike,
Okay.
we compare fiat.
Get off of this. Okay. So kind of take that in for what it's worth. Okay. Like I said, do your due diligence, do your research, your research. And so it's take the information. Okay, I'm trying to just condense it down so everybody has a better idea of and can make a more informed decision here. Okay, so and like I said, like I've shared this over the last couple of weeks as well too. Each week I share the updated charts. If you look at this is from silverprice.org. Okay, so it shows you the silver performance by day, 30 days, 6 months, 1, 5, and 20 years, and you see the same here for gold as well. So in this case here, it shows you over the course of time the value of both gold and silver. And like I've mentioned many times before, you had this huge cup and handle thing here forming, which Mike initially kind of pointed and noticed this years back with gold. He noticed there was a cup and handle forming. And if you look at the gold charts, it's the same way. There's this huge cup and handle. So the bottom of the cup is where it's kind of hitting the low points, but then when it actually surges up to a handle, that's when it's stabilizing. Okay. And then here's the central bank purchases in gold. I've shared this before as well. So this is courtesy of macromicro.me. I'll have this link below as well as with all the other videos and clips that I have here. I'll have that below the video if you want to check them out specifically. But you see, ever since the sanctions were put on Russia, the key date was February 24th of 2022. When you see what's happened since then, this is all central banks purchasing gold. Okay, so something is happening. And no, the mainstream media is not just going to come out and say, hey, you know, hey, Jeff, I see you're out here, Jeff. How you doing? Hey, Jeff, by the way, tomorrow we're going to do this. No, they're not going to do this. This is going to be one of those things where it's going to be on the drop of a dime and it'll change. And when it changes, it's going to change across the globe because anything that the United States does first, whether it's going back to a gold-backed dollar, which would be as is an option, okay, or else gold-backed treasuries or the revaluation of gold. Those are all things that can kind of trigger into when this monetary reset. That's kind of what Mike was referring there to with the monetary reset, is that it could be at any point, and it's the media and the whatever government our country that you're in, they're not going to come out and tell you ahead of time. Okay. So what I want to do here is I want to clarify this for the drawing. Okay. I'm going to today, I had, let's see, I had these people down for the people actually follow directions. Okay. So I want to thank them for doing that. And I'm not trying to say anything negative about those who didn't, but I just want to make sure that people understand. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away a half-ounce silver coin. Okay. Now, this is in leading up to, I was going to have the membership giveaway today, but I will touch on that in a moment. But I had Roger, let's see, Shirley Carlson, um, Kimberly, James Michaels, Truth Watcher, and John Cook, who actually on after I made the announcement back on at the first week of September, I said, or 2 weeks back, I made an announcement that I was going to have this membership giveaway. They were either subscribed or contacted me directly saying, okay, make sure I'm in the drawing. So what I'm doing is for those people, I'm going to give you three drawings, three entries into the membership giveaway. I'm going to delay that to 1 more week. So please pay close attention. All you need to do to qualify, if you're already a subscriber, just comment or in the below the video, whether it's on YouTube or Rumble or wherever you see it, say, Rick, I'm already a subscriber. Okay. That way, because I made the comment for new subscribers too. And so there was some misunderstanding here. That's why I'm extending it 1 more week. So just put, if you're a subscriber, put on there, Rick, I'm a subscriber already. And then if not, just go ahead and subscribe. And once you subscribe, I see the notification. I'll put you into the drawing. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is for the half ounce silver today, I've got the people's names here in our Silver and Gold Solutions mug. And we're going to have John Cook. So John Cook sent me an email at rick@silverandgoldsolutions.org, and I will get out a half-ounce silver coin to you. And so for next week, uh, this is going to be on our 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Gold and Silver Stacking Saturdays, our live call. It's to be a 1-year basic membership to 7K metals. It's 149 plus dollar value, which includes the $20 instant gold pay with the membership, and that's from 7K. That's part of your 149. And then of course the Silver and Gold Solutions bonus for this is from me to you for creating your membership through the link that you provide. And I also have a link for any information for that below. You'll have a 1 ounce silver buffalo coin, okay, and then a 1 ounce copper bullion coin, and also a Silver and Gold Solutions coffee mug, okay, and that would come from me, and I would ship that to you. It has nothing to do with 7K. That's from me, just for you joining 7K. But that's my gift from me to you. So that'll be next week. So just go and make sure that if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and then also if you already subscribed, then just go ahead and say, Rick, I'm a subscriber, and I'll get you into the drawing. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to share this. It's a 9-minute presentation. So if you've seen this before, you can probably skip ahead 9 minutes, no worries. Okay. But I want to share this again because this is something that if you haven't watched this Wealth Strategies presentation, it'll give you a better understanding and help eliminate some of the confusion that people have about precious metals and how to save, how to go about doing it. Like I said, even if you can do a little bit at a time, that's great. But this is a wealth strategy presentation from 7K, and they really do a nice job of kind of going over everything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and pull up this other screen here.
If you're watching this video, chances are you've got some questions about gold or silver. You know they're valid, but maybe it feels complicated. You're not sure how to use them, where to start, or who to trust. Or maybe you already own gold or silver, but want a simpler way. That's exactly why we made this, to share what we've learned, so you can make confident decisions and take real steps toward building with gold and silver, and hopefully give you enough confidence to get involved. At 7K, our mission is simple. Put gold and silver into the hands of people who need it most. We are a North American authorized gold and silver dealer located in the state of Idaho. For over a decade, we've worked to remove the friction, fear, and confusion for the first-time buyer, and to simplify the process for a seasoned stacker to add more precious metals to their portfolio. Gold and silver are everywhere in the news. Governments are stacking it. It's one of the most significant asset classes on Earth, and people across the globe are paying attention. But why? Let's start with a quick look at our modern money system. In 1913, the US dollar was backed by gold and had full purchasing power. But when the government detached it from gold in 1971 and started printing like crazy, the dollar lost over 97% of its value. That's inflation. And you felt it from the grocery store to your energy bill. Fiat currency is money created by governments with no real backing, just paper we've agreed to trust. And every time they print more, your dollars buy less. That's where sound money, a better name for gold and silver, comes in. It's been a trusted store of value for thousands of years. The wealthy have used it to preserve and grow wealth, and so do banks and governments. They know what it's worth. Let's look at a simple comparison. 5 years ago, if you saved $1,000 in the bank, inflation would have eaten away at its value. But if you use that same $1,000 to buy gold or silver, that gold would be worth over $1,900 today. The silver, over $2,000. Would that knowledge have changed your strategy? Probably. So why doesn't everyone do this? Because gold and silver got too complicated. People don't know how to use it, sell it, or even where to start. That's where we come in. We've made owning gold and silver simple, accessible, and smart. As a 7K member, you'll get tools that help you start stacking with confidence, starting with Sound Money Wallet, the foundation of our basic membership. Here's what it unlocks. First, fractional gold and silver purchases on any budget. Although we handle purchases in the millions, you don't have to have large amounts of money to buy gold or silver anymore. You can literally start with $1. Next, safe, secure, insured storage. No private safes or extra security systems at home required. Also, quick and easy buyback at top prices. No haggling, period. Lastly, fast, reliable shipping if you want it in hand. Sound Money Wallet solves the traditional pain points of buying and holding metals. It's a fresh take on the most time-tested form of money. And remember, there's no speculation here, only physical assets. Sound Money alone costs $199 a year. With our basic membership, you'll get Sound Money Wallet with up to $1,000 in free storage through our Vault Max facility for less. But we're more than a gold and silver dealer. We're an education platform. Our buyer certification teaches you the basics of stacking, while the collector certification opens up the exciting world of collectible gold and silver. Exclusive, limited edition coins with stories, beauty, and real value. We've spent the last decade building the most robust marketplace around collectibles. And as a member, you get exclusive access. You'll also get tools to track and sell your collectibles through Stack and Sell, our secure trading platform. Want to supercharge your stacking? That's where Instant Gold Pay comes in. For every new 7K member you refer, we'll thank you with up to $80 in pure gold, deposited directly into VaultMax and visible in your Sound Money wallet. We don't do flashy ads. We'd rather pay you to spread the word. And if you refer 4 people within your first 14 days, we'll add up to $500 in cash rewards on top of the gold. No pressure. Sharing is totally optional. If you'd rather stack quietly, that works too. All of that comes with our basic membership. You can see that it's well worth over $400 for all the platforms here, but it's only a one-time $149, less than your annual Amazon Prime bill or premium Netflix subscription. And if you want more, go Legacy. Legacy members get everything basic offers, plus $50,000 in free storage instead of $1,000, more gold up front, unlimited collectible tracking, and a Sound Money metal matching bonus. Every time someone you refer buys gold or silver, you get up to 1% of it automatically in real metals. Whether it's 1% of 1,000 or 1 billion, you won't want to miss out on free Sound Money. If you like the idea of up to $50,000 in free physical gold and silver storage in the secure Vault Max vaults, or the Sound Money metal matching bonus, the Legacy can't be beat. So it's either the basic for $149 or the Get It All Legacy for $599. Just pick the one that makes the most sense for you right now. Once you've selected a membership, you've already taken a big step, but why stop there? Successful people automate what they can because it helps them be efficient. They invest in themselves, they pay themselves first, and they make it automatic. Start with a monthly budget that fits your goals. Part for education, part for wealth building, and let automation do the heavy lifting. When it comes to education, 7K Pro is your gateway to next level confidence. With a growing library of life mastery topics, you'll get the knowledge and mindset to grow your wealth and your future. Plus, you'll unlock exclusive collectible coin access, extra perks, and member savings, all for just $59 a month. Every membership includes a 15-day free trial of 7K Pro. You'll be billed monthly after that, but you can update or cancel anytime. Now, remember that monthly budget we mentioned? Here's a smart way to use it. Put $60 into 7K Pro for education and the balance towards Wealth Builder, A first of its kind subscription that lets you choose your metal, gold or silver, set your amount, and auto stack assets weekly or monthly. It's the easiest way to build your sound money portfolio hands free. Either way, you win. There are many options, but the point is this: success loves automation. So let's make investing in yourself and your future effortless. Take a look at what would have happened if you would have set your wealth builder to purchase $100 in gold every month over the last 3 years. The real key to winning in this system is automation. You automate your monthly bills so you don't miss them. Why not automate paying yourself first to start hitting your goals without thinking about it? Autosaver sends you a premium collectible coin each month. No guesswork or effort required. These tools turn gold and silver from a someday idea into a steady strategy that fits your life. So, what's your next step? Pick the membership that fits your goals. If you've got questions, talk to the person who invited you. Last thing, we mentioned this earlier, and it's fair for you to know. We have a way for you to get whichever membership you choose paid for quickly. It's likely you are already thinking of 4 or 5 people you know who might want this information. Remember the instant gold pay? For every legacy membership you refer, we will pay you $80 in gold instantly. That adds up quickly. And if you bring 4 in the first 14 days after you pick a membership, we are willing to pay up to $500 in a cash reward on top of that gold pay. That's $320 in gold and $500 in cash. That's over $800 back in your pocket. Again, this is optional. And if you like that, but want more, we do have other ways where you could scale this program to earn even more rewards consistently over time. That's in another video. For now, let the person who shared this information with you know which membership you'd like. And welcome to 7K, where real assets meet real confidence.
With 7K, all right, I've been a member of 7K since 2000. Okay, it's been a great experience for myself. I cannot I highly recommend them just from the standpoint of their customer service and how upfront they are about everything. Okay, it's something like if you ever have any questions, you get hold of their customer service. They get you squared right away. But what's really nice about 7K is they have a step-by-step process of saving in the form of getting started today. Okay, they have, it's simple. You create your account, your membership account. You get logged in. It's got step 1. You click begin. Step 2, you just follow 7 steps, and then it gets you all set up. It helps you get your Sound Money wallet set up, which is what was shared in the video. And what's really nice about the Sound Money wallet, like I said before on other videos, is that you can actually save in as little as $1 or 2 at a time if that's what your budget is. Okay. The main thing, what's nice about 7K though is they allow you to do that. They're the only company that allows you to do that, where you can save like in dollar incremental amounts from $1 up to whatever. Okay. And so there's no other company in the world that does it. That's why I always talk about 7K, and that's why I highly recommend them. But what's really nice with their step-by-step process here, it eliminates that confusion. Okay. It shows you, okay, this is how you get your account set up. This is what your options are of what you can do. This is whether you want to set up something monthly, or if you just want to do something like weekly if you want, or if you wanted to add a couple dollars each week. Say you're a waiter or waitress or something, and you had $30 in tips or something one night, or over the course of however many days, depending on where you're at, and you wanted to put that into gold and silver. You could do that just whenever you wanted to. That's what's really nice about 7K. And with the Sound Money wallet, what's really cool about it is if you ever had an emergency expense, like people are like, why would I want to save in gold and silver? Because then if I need to liquidate it, how do I do it? So, 7K allows you to do that with a click of a mouse. Okay, like I want to show you here. I'll get back to this in a minute. So, like when you create your account and you have your Sound Money wallet, it's all set up. You can have it, split up into silver eagles, gold eagles, silver 100-ounce silver bar, or 1-ounce gold bar. Now, this is a test account that I have, or a small account that I have that I just use for when I shoot videos for explanation. But say if I needed $100, I could actually go back into my Sound Money wallet, click the manage or buy assets, and then it'll give you the option whether you want to if you want to buy or if you want to sell. If you want to sell it, you can actually convert silver into gold, or vice versa if you wanted to, or if you wanted to take, say I need that $100 or whatever, I could convert, say no, I want it deposited back into my bank account. I put in $100, hit the button, and it goes back into my bank account. That's how easy it is. Okay, so it's not just something to kind of keep in mind. That's why I highly recommend it. But then also, what 7K started doing this month is they started sending out a monthly statement, and I need to do a video on that. I mentioned it last week, but I will do one coming up here where they send you a monthly statement showing how much of, what percentage of gold and silver you have and what its value is. And then also starting next month, so in October, they're supposed to be actually videotaping the auditing of the vaults that they have. Now, they're the only company other than a bank that has vaults that is allowed to have this type of, they have a special listing where they're approved to have their vaults audited and recorded. Okay, so what they're going to do is they're actually going to be able to share a clip of having, the money that's in the vault audited, so people can actually see that, yeah, there's physical silver and gold there. Okay, so that's really cool. It's something really nice about 7K. Like I said, this is the bonus that would come from me after you create your membership. And right now, 7K is in 63 countries across the globe. Back when I started, they were in 6. Okay, so they made some big strides. That's their goal, is to be across the entire globe. So if you see your country here on this map here, anything that's colored is where they're at. Anything that's white is where they're not. Okay, so it's something that I encourage you to take a look at. It's something that can really make a difference and an impact for yourself and your family. Let's see here. There we go. And like I said, I will correct the video as soon as I hit record or end the recording. I will go ahead and go back and record that wealth strategies presentation. Please watch it. It's something that if you have high school kids or junior high age kids or even young adults, have them watch it, because it's something that everybody should know, not just from the standpoint, yes, they talk about how to save with 7K, but they also give a nice breakdown of why it's important to save, not just necessarily with 7K, but just for your family and your future in precious metals. So I like sharing that because I want everybody to have the opportunity, have the knowledge to make a more informed decision for themselves and their family and their future. I do appreciate everybody's time. And like I said, when it comes to the drawing next week, you can find out more about information about 7K. I'll have the link for that video that I'm going to share below, so you can watch the video over in just that portion of it if you'd like, or else you could go to the link and find out, go to 7K's website. Now they are by referral only. So, and with me being an affiliate, so that's where, like, if you did create a membership with the link below, you would be under me as far as the 7K team goes. And that's explained in the video and how that works. So find out as much information as you can about silver and gold, 7K, other companies. Now, if you're partial to another company, by all means, continue to go to work with whoever you're working with, but at least take into consideration what 7K offers in the with the process of the Sound Money Wallet, because there's no other company in the entire world that offers that. And so it's something I highly encourage everyone to take a look at. I really do appreciate everybody's time. I hope you got some great insight as to why everything that's kind of falling into places and adding to this pieces of the puzzle of why gold and silver are surging, why there's that huge potential for it to surge more. Is there a guarantee? No, nothing in life is guaranteed. So that's something just to kind of keep in mind, but there's a lot of all these moving parts, and I try to condense it down and share that with everybody each week. So I hope you got some great insight from the video. I want to thank you for your time. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the like button. And then also, if you're already subscribed, just say, like I said, hey, Rick, I'm subscribed. Enter me. Okay, something like that. Or just, comment on the video and I'll make sure that you're entered. Okay. Okay, so I wish everybody a great rest of your weekend, and I look forward to seeing everybody again soon. Take care.